Alright, you're back, and Mr. Smooth is taking his seat, and like I said, we're going to have a quick review of what we did last week. And last week, if you were a part of the class, you remember we spoke about understanding orgasms, understanding oral sex. I said that oral sex, yes, we all see it as a taboo, and most people think that the mouth that they use in doing prayers and stuff shouldn't be used in pleasuring a man or pleasuring a woman under the private area. But I am breaking that myth and making people understand that for women especially, there is a bacteria they have, is a very healthy one, lactobacillus, and if the place is very healthy, they have no infections, that bacteria is very healthy. I remember last 2 weeks I said that bacteria is even capable of stopping cancers from growing in a man, and if you eat that bacteria, you
but you know, there's also this myth, I don't know whether that's one of you call it a myth or not, that when you do or you perform this oral sex on your lady, it can actually causes cancer of the throat.
Yeah, that is what I want people to disabuse their minds of. So long as the woman doesn't have any form of infection,
okay,
so long as the woman has treated herself and she's
clean,
her vaginal pH is between 3.5 and 4.0 or 4.4, she's safe, and everything under there is even more safe. It is even more healthier than your mouth. There are more bacteria in your mouth than you have harmful bacteria that in your mouth than you have and a woman has in the VJ. So it's important that you get to treat the place well. And like I said last week, if you really want to keep the place intact, I'm around 0244 66 11. We'll help you treat the place. And then also we also stated that there are ways to have this oral sex thing, because it becomes a very important thing. If you don't know how to do it, then you are not going to be able to take your woman or your wife into the orgasm zone. I have said here severally that it takes at least 15 minutes to move a woman from the cold state into the warm state, from the cold or water level into the level where she will begin to feel aroused and begin to have some orgasms. So if you were a man and you are able to keep her going 15 minutes continuously, either penetrative or oral or foreplay, if you're unable to do that, then a woman doesn't have or get to that level where she can reach an orgasm. So using some of these simple techniques that I spoke about can help you be able to reach there and be able to pleasure your wife, so your wife will not feel most times angry, because once they want to orgasm and then you come, it is very, very annoying, very, very irritating. That is when they bring your food and they throw the food at you on the table, and that is when you are sleeping and they intentionally bank the door so they wake you up. That is when they get to the office and they are so angry at every young man who looks cool.
Yeah,
you know, so you don't want that to happen to your wife, so you should learn some of these things. I also came out to talk about some basic techniques that you use when you are doing oral sex. So I introduced the basics of what I call tongue kung fu, and I said that I remember showing you some of the exercises. You spit your tongue out as if you want to touch your chin, and once your tongue becomes long, the muscles in there become strengthened, it becomes strong, and then either you are giving the man head or the man is licking you or whatever. Normally when you open your jaw, you get a jaw lock, and the jaw lock usually comes because the tongue is not trained, the jaw is not trained. So when you do tongue kung fu, you train the tongue, you train the jaw, so you don't feel strain in the tongue, you don't feel strain in the jaw. And I'm telling you honestly that we're going to have sessions, private sessions, that we're going to teach you details of the tongue kung fu. It's not everything that we can sit on TV and teach you, but I mean, last week I gave you some basics. One of the tips I gave you was spit your tongue out as if you want to touch your chin with your tongue. Stretch it, stretch it, stretch it. You breathe in, you stretch it out. You breathe in, you stretch it out. And as you continue to stretch it out, the tongue becomes longer, it becomes stronger, the muscle in there becomes stronger. And I also said that you can also move your tongue up. So you shift your tongue up as if you want to touch the tip of your nose. So you are stretching, while you are doing it down, you're also doing it up. So you move your tongue up as if you want to touch the tip of your nose. And as you continue to stretch and stretch and stretch, the muscle becomes stronger And when you are in the act of lovemaking and you're doing oral sex, your tongue doesn't strain, your jaw doesn't lock. And then also, I also said you can flip your tongue around. I don't want to do it. So you can flip your tongue around, you flip your tongue around. So you do it the clockwise direction, you do it the anti-clockwise direction. That is one tip. And the next one is you can place the tongue at the tip of the roof, at the roof of your tongue, and you push it up. As you push it up, you are still strengthening, like you are doing this. You are strengthening the muscle you have all in your neck, in your tongue, and then in your jaw. And then one simple one too is you push your tongue inside your cheek like that, and then you use your thumb to press it. That also strengthens your tongue. And then you bring it to the left, and you push it, and you do it 10 times here, 10 times there, 10 times here, 10 times there, and then you put your tongue under the lower incisors like that, and then you push it out. So you'll be strengthening your jaw, strengthening your tongue. So this thing is not something that comes to you naturally. Love making, people think that, everybody
has to work
everybody
towards
knows how to do it, everybody can just do it and feel okay. But it's important that you work towards mastering the act, because nobody teaches these things in a school. There's no school that teaches you some of these things. It's only on adult class that you get the opportunity to learn some of these things that you can apply in your marriage. So you need to really take this class very, very seriously and patronize. We're looking for sponsors to sponsor this show. So if you know anyone who is interested in this sort of education that we do, just call me 0244 66 1011, 0244 66 11 1011. Let's get into a simple contract and then help us continue to bring this education to you. Now, going forward, we also looked at ways that after going through the basic tongue kung fu, which I said that we're going to have a very, very special session where we're going to teach you all the details, that we're going to hang lemon. You hang a lemon, and then we use the tongue to move it around, chase it around, and then we write an 8 with the tongue and all those things. And then if you are able to control the tongue well, have total control over whatever that you are doing, you master the act, and then you're going to be in fully control of the love act, that love making that you're doing. Also, I also showed you some basic tips for oral sex. I said for beginners, that is, I even branded it as undergrads. For beginners, you lie on the side where you can see the entire private area of the woman. You can see the clitoris and clitoral hood on top, and then the vaginal line down, and then you can use under the tip, under the tongue, to brush on the clitoris and the clitoral hood. And I also told you can suck the clitoral hood and blow air on it. I also told you can flip the clitoral hood side by side. I also said you can nibble it. You can just suck the whole thing in your mouth. And then there are others that we would get to, that you can use your tongue in drawing an 8 on it. You can use your tongue to flip.
Draw an 8 on the clit?
Yes, on the 8, you draw an 8 on it. So you draw the 8 clock in this direction, and you draw the 8 in the reverse direction using the tongue. And it's once you're able to get a rhythm, you draw the 8 and you reverse the 8. Okay. And you draw the 8 and then you reverse the 8. It's very, very it's fascinating if and both men and women can do this. The woman can do the 8 on the gland penis. She can draw the 8 from the frenulum all the way up, and then there are so many ways that we would be teaching in this as we go on. Now, after we have studied all or gone through all these basics, there are a few things that everyone should understand, that before a man can be able to put his head under you, to be able to feel comfortable to give you oral sex, then the place should be neat. The place should not smell awful. And I said that as beginners, if you are learning to have oral sex, there are some basic rules that you should understand. That you just don't go and eat your fried rice and chicken and come and eat a woman's private area, because then you're going to transfer that food into the private area, and that private area doesn't eat banku, it doesn't eat fried rice, it doesn't like the the pizza and the pork and all the stuff that you're eating. So normally people would want to brush their teeth before having oral sex. But the bad part of that is once you brush your teeth and then you have any cut in your mouth or any bleeding gum, and then you go licking the woman, and then the woman has any form of infection, it becomes so easy for you to be transferred to you. So normally it is not advised to brush your teeth just before you get into any oral sex act. That is something you would have to take note of. Now, most of the mouthwashes that we have are very strong. That can also give you bruises or blisters or in the tongue or in the mouth. So if you think that you want a very fresh breath and you're going to use a mouthwash, what happens is, if you're not careful and any of you have any form of infection, you're going to become so easy for you to transfer that infection through the cuts that you have in your mouth. So the best way or the best thing to do is to gargle with water. Find something minty to eat, either some mint stuff, chewing gum, or something that is not too harsh, not too strong, that's not going to cut. And then also, like I said, if you remember when I was treating the forbiddance, I said you wait about 20 to 30 minutes after you are eating before you engage in anything sexual. So by that time you would have had the food that you have remaining in your teeth and in your mouth swallowed well, and then once you wash or gargle with water, you can either pour it out or drink it, and then the place becomes cool for you to have whatever oral sex that you want to have. One of the things that women should remember is that you need to wash your butt, especially when you use the WC. I don't want to say toilet. Because it's so easy for you to transfer bacteria from that area to your private area. And most times women, when they are washing, they squat and they wash with their hands in front. And when you wash with your hand in front, it is easy to transfer the bacteria to your queen's palace.
So it's best to
wash from the back. Which is a little difficult, but it is best to wash from the back, so that whatever you have there rather goes to the back rather than come inside. And most times too, I'm not a woman, but being a teacher I have many women that I train. I also train them to learn to tilt their body on the side. Come on, man. Let's look at this. Tilt their body on the side. Especially when they squat, you can tilt their body on the side and then wash from that side, so it becomes a little easier for them. You get it? You can wash it this way.
Okay.
You can pour the water. It's cumbersome, but it's better that way than to wash it from this side, because when you wash from this side, it's easy to get yourself infected. Now, most people always say that. Most women say that, oh, me, I'm clean. I have no infection. There's nothing wrong with me, simply because they believe that they take very good care of themselves. But I asked one question: do you know the source of the water that you are using to wash yourself? Do you know if the water that you are using has any form of bacterial infection or anything in it? Because there's chlorine even in the water that we use, even from the tap. And then most of us do not really care. We don't really concern ourselves about the water that we use. All we care about is we have water, we see it as clear, and then we are bathing with it.
Especially during the dry seasons.
Thank you very much. I was coming to that. During the dry season.
Water is scarce, and we just take water from any source and then we try.
Beautiful. And then also ask yourself, when you leave that water there for it to settle for a few hours, don't you see dirt under it? That water you are using to wash your vulva. And once you're washing your vulva, you're going to getting some form of infections one way or the other. So I don't think there's any woman who can say that, as for me, dear, I have
I was talking to a lady and she told me she uses what we normally call pure water. That's what she uses.
How pure is that pure water?
I don't even know.
That pure water that most times when you look at it, when you even leave it, it becomes very slippery and all that. So it's not advisable have such you really need to wash yourself. You need to keep yourself well, but once in a while you should treat yourself good. That Queen's Palace is probably the second most important part of your body. For me, as I take my head, my brain as the most important part of me. And
you're right.
Yes, because without that, probably there's nothing more. And then from there, I come to my reproductive organs, where I know helps me recreate, become creative and stuff. So it's important that you take note of this. Now, there is something that women do not know about. It is called vulvovaginitis. And that vulvovaginitis is a very simple thing, and some women have it and don't even know that they have it. They assume that it is just the skin that is peeling off. Echo, let's look at it. This is how it looks at from a very open, very open-minded stuff. It is some sort of an inflammation. It's an inflammation in the vulva or the vagina, and it is common. It is common. It affects women of all ages. It's common. It affects women of all ages, and most times you see these design on your thigh. You see these design, and you think it's nothing.
It's just peeling off.
Yes. You see your skin peeling off, and you think, oh, it is nothing. It is a discharge that is coming from the vagina that is spilling to that point for you to see.
Ooh.
So it is important that women take note of vulvovaginitis. We are going to look at some of the causes, some of the treatments. So if you see any sign like this on you, that your skin around your private area is peeling off, it is not your skin that is peeling off. It is a discharge or an infection that you are carrying. Now, I'm saying that there are a variety of causes of vulvovaginitis. There are a variety of causes. We have bacteria vulvovaginitis, which actually affects 30% of all women. It affects 30% of all women. And there was a study in the United States that concluded that most women have this problem. That study indicated that most women, and this study was done in 2017, and indicates that most women even do not know that they have candidiasis or yeast infections. And it's very important, and all these things affect the vulva area of the vagina. And if you have such an infection, it is obvious that the man will not want to put his head around there. If you see any such look of your vulva, it means you have vulvovaginitis, and it is caused by a bacteria. It is caused by a bacteria. And there are many things that can trigger this thing, but the most common cause of this is bacteria. And if you would want to look at it, this sort of bacteria, I mean, they actually cause many problems, many gynecological problems from this bacteria infections. And then you're going to see the whitish discharge, and it usually smells fishy. It smells like fish. It has that odor of a fish. And then also, you can also have yeast infections that is also causing your vulvovaginitis, or you call it candida. That is also a yeast infection that can also cause itches, or you see this thick whitish vaginal discharge, and that can also spread around the whole vulva, and then you see your skin peeling off, and you think that, oh, it is just normal. Anytime you see any discharge that comes off like cottage cheese, very thick, I have said this here before, you need to seek treatment. And there are simple treatments that you can use. Even though they may be expensive, they are not antibacterial or antibiotics, so they will not affect the pH of your vagina, and they'll actually give you better solutions. And when people use antibacterial, or how do you call it, antibiotics, what happens is it then kills all the healthy bacteria you have in your vagina. And once the healthy bacteria in your vagina is dead, you are then exposed to more and more and more infections. Now, certain viruses can also cause vulvovaginitis. So you can also have the HPV, which is also a very, very serious virus that can also cause vulvovaginitis. You should also look at that. And then almighty, I always find it difficult pronouncing this word, trichomoniasis. Trichomoniasis, yes. And this one comes up with this whitish discharge that is a little foamy. You may not actually, you may think it is nothing, but it is a very bad infection. It is caused by this sort of bacteria. They come like this, and then you can, I mean, it's very itchy, and some do not smell actually, but it is. You see this discharge in your panties, and you think that there's nothing wrong with you, but I tell you, you have a lot of problems. And then also, when you have parasites, like pinworm, you have parasites like lice.
Hey.
Yes, some people have lice there.
Ooh.
On the pubic hair, they have lice is there. These can also cause inflammations of the vulva and the vagina. And you don't expect that when you have the lice there, a man will put his head there and give you oral sex.
No,
but when they say, when I say, who will put his head there when you are when you are having,
the place is itchy.
It's itching you, and the place is swollen because once there's lice, the place is going to become inflamed, and you yourself will not feel comfortable allowing the man to put his head around that area. And then also some environmental factors can also cause this vulvovaginitis, like poor hygiene. Most people wear very tight clothes. They put on rubber panties, and the heat stays inside them for hours, and they walk on the sun, they work in the sun, they sit in the office for long hours wearing so-called fancy panties, tight jeans.
So it's always advisable to put on something
cotton, something loose, so you have enough ventilation, air going around that area. And this also goes for the men who wear tight shorts and they wear panties and boxer shorts, and all the heat in there.
And they wear tight jeans.
Yes, surprisingly, this area is the part of us that is always covered. But that is the area that needs sunlight. It needs sunlight and air the most, but we are always covering that part. It's amazing. And then when you don't keep the environment around your Queen's Palace clean, you're just going to have irritated skin. You're going to be scratching your that area, and then you're going to have you're going to experience vulvovaginitis. It's not going to be pleasant for you. And then there are also some sexually transmitted infections that can also cause vulvovaginitis. And then normally, if they are sexually transmitted, you need to treat, and then your partner also needs to treat. There are some people who say that once the woman treats, that's it. But if the woman treats the gonorrhea or the chlamydia or has herpes and treats, and the man doesn't treat, the man will reinfect the woman. So it's important that once you detect that it's a sexually
guys really don't like treating this STIs.
Yes, but the thing is, they feel they don't have it. I was telling somebody that if you sleep with a woman who has bacteria, you also have to treat, because then when you go back to her, you will infect her again.
They always push the women to go and treat themselves.
You also have to treat yourself, because both of you get infected when you are making love without protection. So once the woman treats, you should also seek treatment.
I mean, if you say I know what Pharaoh, it
is an ego. For you to tell the man he has an infection, it hurts its ego.
Yeah, intimate for that what Pharaoh. they hide to come and get themselves treated, and then they go back and sleep with the men.
I remember a lady called me, and she has this. I don't know whatever she has, but she said it when she was hanging up. Me very posemeka. So I'm too shy to even say what is wrong with me. But if you are shy to share what is wrong with you, you're not going to get help.
Yeah.
If you want help from me, you would have to share what it is. Most people who call me, I try and probe, go a little deeper. And if there's a need to tell you to go for a test before we can tell what it is, I'll tell you. Go to the hospital, do a test. Let's see what the results is. And then we can start talking about what you have. Because if you just assume that I would know everything you're talking about, it's a lie, because I am not a medical doctor. And most medical doctors, when you tell them, they want to have a test
of course,
to prove that this is what we have seen and this is what we are testing, or this is what we are treating. So it's important that don't feel shy. Some of us, we are open, we are helping women, we are helping men. Don't feel shy to share that infection or that discharge or that problem that you have. Don't feel shy to share with us, because that is the main reason why we are out here. We have put our face out there, that we are teaching some of these things so that we can get you help. Because some of you will not want to go to the hospital because you feel when you go to the hospital, everybody is going to say you have this or you have that. Some of us, we are hiding in our small corner. You can call us on the phone and then we can get you some doctor to take care of you, or we can get you some treatment alongside, so you can be able to feel good. So women, don't feel shy. My number is 0244 66 1011. If you have any infection or you think there's something,
women, not just the women.
The men who have the premature ejaculations and all those things, don't feel shy. Let's talk. Men who have the low
it's part of human nature. They are bound to happen.
They are bound to
so
happen.
you don't have to feel shy.
You don't have to feel shy. And if you have the low sperm count and all those things, there are simple methods, simple ways of dealing with these things that you don't need to kill yourself over. I mean, somebody told me that my what do you call it? Sperm count is so low, and they said my sperm is running helter-skelter. And I said, if you want your sperm to run like Ben Johnson, if you want it to run like Ben Johnson, there are simple things you can do to have it run like Ben Johnson. You see, so or Usain Bolt, he's now the fastest. So it's important that you share what you feel, share what you have. If there's help, we can also give you. But there are some causes. There are some basic causes of vulvovaginitis. One of them is chemical irritants. There are so many of them. You have these sprays, you have these soaps, you have most of these chemicals. When you use any chemical and you feel irritated, mark it, check the name on it, and take it off your list so you don't use it again. So chemical irritants can also cause you vulvovaginitis, especially when you are exposed to these chemicals that your body doesn't like, because all of us have allergies. There are things that we like and there are things that we don't like. Personally, I'm allergic to metal. So if I put on watch and it's not gold, I have rashes. So when I put on a ring, it should be gold. If it's not gold, before I remove it, I have rashes all over. Even if my belt touches my belly and there's sweat, I have rashes. So I make sure that whatever I'm using is something that I know that is what my body is like. So I make sure my body is, I put on the stuff that my body likes. And then there are also some chemicals that also would cause you, and some of those chemicals can be found in soaps, that can be found in feminine washes, feminine sprays, perfumes. You can find in contraceptives and some other chemicals. So you need to look at these things. If these things, you find any of these things in your product, the product you are using,
like the parabens,
the sodium sulfates, and all these, if you find them in your product, if you love yourself, when you are using something, you should know what you are using. you should check what you're using. So if you see that you have used something and you didn't feel good,
having any reaction,
yes, you use a soap and you have some reaction on the skin, check the ingredients. Next time you are buying a soap, make sure those ingredients are not in the soap. The fact that somebody is recommending that soap to you doesn't mean that it's good for you. It may be good for that person, but it may not be good for you. So it's important that you take note of these things. So children can also get vulvovaginitis, and this is bad. You see the way the whole vulva has been messed up is simply because of this gynecological conditions that when you are...
Mama, is that really a vagina?
Yes, that is
quite scary.
Yes, that is vulvovaginitis for somebody in a, what do you call it? She's growing up.
Prepubescent.
Yeah, prepubescent girls. They can get vulvovaginitis, and this is also caused by simply not treating yourself well. She is not taking care of herself well. Her mother is allowing her to use any toilet, assuming that she is protected. She's allowed to use any soap, she's allowed to wear any clothes, she's allowed to play anywhere. Remember that your growing child can also get such infections. I deliberately brought this in
it's very scary
to alert mothers who have girls to constantly observe their baby girls' private area. You need to examine it while they are growing. You need to constantly have an eye in there. Doctors believe that because of low estrogen levels, kids can have this. But normally, when the area is more acidic, when the acidity of the area is intact, so there are products available that keeps the acidity of the vagina intact, whether it's a baby, it's a small girl, or it's a matured woman. Once the acidity of the place is between 3.5 and 4.4, it is intact, and all these things would stop because it is low estrogen. And when the place becomes too acidic or too alkaline, then you can have your baby girl experiencing this pain. So children can be treated, this sort of things can be treated by making sure that they bath well, and then also you should make sure that you don't wear them tight clothes. They should wear loose clothes so that they can keep the infections away from them. Now, what are some of the signs, some of the things that you will see that will make you know that you have vulvovaginitis? These are some of the signs. One of the symptoms is that they vary. The symptoms actually vary, and some of them include irritation of the genital area. You have irritation, you have itching, the place will itch, and then the place will also inflame.
Reddish.
Yes, the labia, yes, be peeling. You saw that picture there, to be peeling, to become reddish around the thigh area, like the first picture I showed. So you could tell that is. And then also there's an increase in the smell of the vaginal discharge. That should also tell you that you have vulvovaginitis. Now, it is important that this also will cause discomfort when you are urinating.
Sometimes you feel this burning sensation.
When you are urinating, yes. So anytime you are a woman and you are urinating, you feel the burning sensation. It also means that you have an infection.
Something is wrong.
Something is wrong with you, and you need to treat it. So that is it. How do we treat it? There are so many home remedies available, and sometimes people overhype the home remedies, and it's important that we look at some of these things. You have to make sure that whatever that you are using is proper. Okay, now first of all, if you don't know any home remedy, or you don't have anybody you can talk to, it's important that you see your doctor or you see your gynecologist so that it helps you with the treatment. But if it is just yeast infections, you can also get to the chemist or a pharmacist and then tell them what you're suffering. And some of the treatments they can give you includes either a vaginal cream. There's one that is becoming very popular in Ghana now, Hygiene.
Okay.
It's becoming very popular. And then also you have some topical ointments and then some oral pills that you can also use. But make sure that whatever you are using, that is not antibiotic. Because if it is antibiotic, it will hurt the healthy bacteria you have in there. This is a typical picture of a yeast infection, deep yeast infection in the cervix, and it's not pleasant at all. It's not pleasant at all. So when you have such things, most people will want to do a warm bath, like they sit in warm water. Yes, in a shallow tap. But sometimes people make the water too hot, and then they pretend as if they are steaming their private area. But remember, that area is not meat that you steam with hot water. Because once you steam it with hot water, you are also going to mess the place up eventually. And then also there are certain oils that you can add to also enhance, like vinegar can also be added, sea salt, like the crystal salt, not the iodinated one, the crystal salt.
My friend Adanchen. Okay, that's the
rocky
sea
one.
salt, yeah.
The rocky one can be put a little in very lukewarm, very lukewarm water. You can sit inside when you have such deep infections, so that it can help kill. A very wonderful session today, I'm sure. So let me just jump to probably we can run from here. So we have had a wonderful session today. We are going to end the class now, and then we are going to be coming